Okay people, so from time to time I do videos which, what can I say, they're confrontational and they potentially can lose me viewers. And I ask myself the question, before I put up one of these controversial videos, if I'm doing something about the Jews or the Muslims or Christians or flat earthers or, you know, fat ugly people, whatever, I can be quite cruel sometimes. But the reason why I do it, people, is because it's the yin and the yang thing. It can't all be love and peace, because that isn't so. There has to be a little bit of evil in there, a little bit of unsettlement. There has to be that, because that is how it is. Just look at a yin and yang symbol. In the white you've got a small circle of black. In the black you've got a small circle of white. Nobody is pure. And we can't pretend to think that we can ever attain that, because it's illusory. And so I don't bother. And I accept the shadow. You see, this is one of the things that Jung said. You know, people, the last thing in the world they ever want to do is to accept themselves. But it's really, really important. And so I accept myself, and I know that within me there is this negative energy, spiteful energy, confrontational energy, many facets of what could be deemed to be a little bit dark. And so I make videos about things because I say to myself, it's all been a bit too positive lately. People are starting to think, oh, love and peace, and it's all great, and we're all one, and, you know, life could be so beautiful. And I like to say, people, don't get, you know, carried away with flights of fantasy. Remember, there's a dark side to life. Let's experience it. So what I do is, and what I've come to understand is, if I want to experience people pointing the finger at me, picking out all of the bits about me that maybe I don't want to accept, then all I've got to do is say something about Islam, because I'll get it all day long. Because these are the variety of people that are just teetering on the edge of extreme anger and violence. In my estimation, here we go again. Ooh, come on then, tell me some more shit about myself. Yes. And it's so easy, because even if they start off tentatively feeling you out, and you answer them politely, matter-of-factly, then they come back with a bit more venom, a bit more hate, and, you know, I just go, come on, let it out, why don't ya? You know, you just want to hate on me. Because what I've done is, I've touched on your non-reality. I've touched on the bullshit that you know is bullshit. It's ungrounded, it's unfounded, it's complete fantasy. Am I rattling your cage? Am I shattering your fantasy? Yeah, and then they want to protect that, and then they come back and they start saying mean things about me. Well, I welcome that. Because, people, hearing that you're great, and, you know, a source of enlightenment and all this sort of thing, it's of no real value. I mean, what does it do? Potentially, it can build one's ego. Then I get to thinking, wow, yeah, I'm great, I'm a source of enlightenment, you know, people are starting to call me a little bit of a guru, ooh. So what do I have to do? I have to go, no, people, that's not me. So I'll say something mean, right? Not necessarily mean, I'll just state the fucking facts, you know. And so if I say something, you know, about a certain creed, then I can get them pointing the finger at me, telling them about my ego, telling me about my hate, telling me about my spiteful nature, telling me about all these sorts of things. And the reason why I welcome that is because once they've given it to me, I look at it, I take it on board, I reflect upon it, and I say to myself, how much truth is there? And I accept quite a bit of truth, because, to be fair, I like this altercation. I like this this attrition, you know, when we have a battle of wits or dark wizard, white wizards, whatever it is, because when we take on board things that people are saying about us, most of the time probably they're only projections. That's what I discovered in my life through this psychology. And so, but I'll keep completely open and I'll put the ego aside and I'll go, okay, yeah, bring that on. Am I full of hate? Is there any hate? Yeah, of course there is. A little bit. Am I mean? Yes, potentially. Okay, why are you like this then? Because that's reality. You know, I'm a Libran. I'm the scales. And so it can't all be love. No. So when it gets a little bit too much love, I start to feel heavy, right, down here, and I think, well, I've got to balance this out. So I've got to bring back a little bit of attrition, got to bring back a bit of hate, got to bring back a bit of dark energy, and then we'll get a nice balance, the yin and the yang. And so I've said in the past about people that star seeds, you know, and all this new age business. Oh, please. You know, I'm more leaning towards the Aleister Crowley perception of things. Do what thou shalt. Do what thou wilt. Just do what you want. And don't have this constant constrainment upon the self, fear of what somebody else is going to be projecting onto you, because you can't stand that projection. Water off a duck's back. And so what we have to do is if we are going to throw stones periodically, then we have to ensure that our glass is fortified. Living in the glass house, got to make sure it's toughened glass. And if the odd pane is broken, then you have to have the wherewithal to accept the damage and be in a position to repair the damage. But you take that broken pane down and you put it in the broken pane area of your mind. You don't discard it, you keep it there, and you reflect upon these things, and you reflect on how potentially you can hurt people, how potentially you can get a confrontation with a person, and you keep all these things because it's very, very important, very grounding. And so from time to time I like to be confrontational, and I like to be grounded. I like people to tell me, your ego's massive, you know, all the hate in you, oh look, you can see it's coming out, you're a racist, you know, and you know, to reflect upon these things, to look at your own biases, to look at your own prejudice. Yes, it's very important. And if I say to myself, how much hate do I have? For whom? What biases do I have? About what? Am I racist? To what creed? And why? Is there anything to substantiate those beliefs? Question, question, question. And so then I can come out of all that and I can be grounded and I can be levelled within my own mind, knowing what I am, looking at my shadow, and I'll be the first to put my hands up. If I do something, if I put a video up about certain creeds, yes, it's because I'm not all embracing to these creeds. There's lots of the things they do I don't like. You know, we're from different cultures, we're from different parts of the world, and as much as you want to embrace all different cultures and facets of how people live their life, well, if it rubs you up the wrong way, then it's kind of like, well, do I just want to bend over on this? You know, do I just want to accept if people are doing this and doing that? Or do I want to stand firm and do something about it? Move out of the area, don't go to a particular area, don't get involved with certain issues. Yes. You see, if we want to dwell within any variety of negative energy, then we can do that all day long. So all you got to do is you turn on the news, and there you have, oh, the Muslims are doing this and the Muslims are doing that, and then you can start to think like, oh yeah, I don't like it when they do that. Because it's kind of like it's one-sided, isn't it, the news? You know, they don't say, oh look, you know, the Americans or the British or Europeans, they're invading another you know, Arab nation, aren't they terrible people? Why don't they just leave them alone? No, they don't say that. But, you know, when you get a terrorist bomb, oh look what they're doing now. Well, you got to look at the bigger picture, you know, you got to look at, it's not what happened now. It's the rationale and the reasoning behind whatever act. See, this is what we have to do. We have to concern ourselves with. And this is why we need to, you know, have some sort of background in history. We've got to know about the history of all this stuff. So once you know about the history of the Christians and then the Muslims, you know, and all of the wars and the attritions they've had throughout, you know, this past, well, 1,300 years now regarding the Muslims. So it's a lot of stuff. And so once you understand that, you can see how deeply, deeply, deeply rooted it is in all of our psyches. It's a part of us, you know, because with our collective unconscious, you know, we took a part in the Crusades. You know, we took a part in those wars just by us being from this particular culture that preceded us. You know, as far as the Muslims are concerned, you know, the British were involved. It's the British. Well, I'm British. I actually didn't do it, but I've been labelled with perpetrating it due to my Britishness. Yes, you look like the people that did it, you know, white-skinned and, you know, dodgy looking. So yeah, and so people, they carry the weight, they carry the prejudices, and they project them all around the world. So it's just a case of understanding that, and I just play the game a little bit. And from time to time, I'm just going to throw a spanner in the works and I'll see what I get back. And I put this Muslim video up, you know, why do so many Muslims hate? Because I just thought, well, they're on the brink of it in any case. So why don't I just throw them a bit of bait and see how many you can get, you know, doing this, and you go, there you go. And so then if you just like apply that to many things around the world, you can see that it's just this little bit of bait. You know, I need a little bit of bait to act in a certain way. You need a little bit of bait to act in a certain way. Look at what the bait is. Know what the bait is. Recognise the bait before it is thrown to you. And then when you recognise it, you go, that's bait. I know what the intention is behind that, then you become wise. Then you won't be acting from the ego. If you do act, you'll be acting from the wisdom. Time!